So this is a Ravensburger 1,000 piece called Dog's Day Off. Don't know how much of the image was visible at the beginning, but it's basically a bunch of dogs doing ridiculous things like grilling and lying on a flamingo float in the pool. Um, I was initially concerned this was going to be a really tough puzzle because it's all dogs. It's a lot of fur, but it actually turned out to be pretty fast and quite a bit of fun. So strategically for this puzzle, I started actually doing some of the border. The thinking there was it helps kind of figure out what I'm working with, and I was having trouble as I flipped the pieces seeing a more distinct part to start with. So generally, I'll look at the image quickly and say, okay, I think I should start with this section. But as I flip pieces, sometimes if I see something that looks really obvious, I'll grab it and start it. In this case, I didn't have one of those, so I was like, you know what, I'll grab border pieces and then start working. I did start to notice a lot of these reddish brown pieces though, so did kind of grab quite a few of those and put them together. I've also separated out some yellow pieces to the right-hand side that I just sort of saw as I was flipping and was like, you know, maybe these will be fairly easy once I get going. So now I've managed to do most of the border, and so now it's okay, I need to look for some more spots. So I've managed to do this reddish, I think it's a tree, up towards the top. And I've managed to also find this pink thing towards the bottom. And now it's okay, what's next? And I'm definitely slowing down here because I just can't quite see the next thing. Part of that is I should have flipped more of the pieces. That would have made it more obvious. Um, Another is probably I should stop, look at the front of the image and say, okay, like I've got about half this pool flamingo done. Should I finish the pool flamingo? So now I'm starting to speed up a little bit here because I'm starting to see some chunks again. So for example, the pool flamingo floaty, building some of those. I'm building this sort of white hat towards the bottom. I'm seeing the grill, so you can actually see these straight lines with hot dogs on them. That's a grill. And the hat is an I love the chef's hat. Building those yellow pieces that I had pulled earlier and weren't sure where they go. That actually turned out to be a glass of orange juice or a mimosa. It is the dog's day off. So one of the challenges here was actually just there are so many little chunks that it was hard to say, oh, well, I'm going to go build this big thing next. It was definitely a lot of little chunks that I was sort of constantly needing to build. It was only 4 pieces and then move on. One idea here might have been to finish that pool in the background. So you can see there's a lot of that sort of blue in the pool. And if I just said, okay, well, let's pull all that blue, finish out the pool, that might not have been a bad idea here. Just to kind of, you know, get some more pieces off the table, make it a little bit easier to see what I was working with for the rest of the puzzle. So I've put off actually building most of the dogs, and I'm just now starting in this part of the puzzle to get to them. The reason for that was just fur is really tough. Fur is always one of the toughest parts of a puzzle to build, and so I wanted to leave that as close to the end as possible, where I had the smallest sections of fur and hopefully the easiest to tell apart. So right now, my strategy right now is I'm trying to reduce the number of pieces on the table by just filling some in. So filling in, like, you know, there's a border collie up at the top that's jumping for a frisbee. There's the dog grilling. There's this pug. Just trying to fill in some of those spots to make it a little bit easier to get the rest in. So the idea is, okay, well, if I have more of these pieces filled in, there are just fewer total pieces of fur left, and then I can just shape sort. So filling in this bottom. And now moving on to the dreaded fur section. Going a little faster than I expected, not gonna lie. And there we are. Cool puzzle.